Hi, welcome to this episode of Danalytics, preparing you for the game of life. I'm your host, Dan Williamson. I'm excited to bring to you today my favorite episode about visualizing and having the life that you want. To me, success it has always come a little bit easy. I always had a max energy, a max attitude. And what I learned along the way is that, life is a decision. Success is a decision. Success is a choice. We choose to be successful or not. The world's going to tell you it's about this and that, what you're born with, what you're born into, your economic status. But the truth is, it's all a lie. This is the greatest country in the world, America. We all have the same opportunities, right? You go with the hand you're dealt. I was dealt, 210 unsuited, baby. I made a life out of it, and I know you can too, right? So, Coach Danalytics, today we're going to talk about having the life that you want, right? It starts with deciding that's what you want to do. It starts with accepting your mortality. You're only going to live once, right? And if you believe that, why wouldn't you want to become the best version of yourself possible? My whole goal with my podcast is to make the world a better place. I want you to become the best version of yourself possible, to have a life of abundance, to not have a scarcity mindset, to have an abundance mindset, to go out and have whatever dreams you desire. And that's what you deserve. But sadly, statistically, right, only 3% of people ever reach what Maslow would call self-actualization. Only 3% of people ever become living in the life that they know that they deserve, where they are the absolute person that they were born to be. And listen, I'm not the smartest guy on planet Earth, but I'll tell you this. I wake up every morning, max energy, positive, in love with my life, in love with the people around me, right? I am exactly who I was born to be, a coach, a high school coach, a motivational speaker, a businessman, a leader. I love who I am, and I'm excited about my life because I'm at self-actualization. And that's what I want for you. I want to help you get to the best version of yourself possible because I want you to have the life that you deserve, happiness, success, friendships. We're going to talk about these things all through the podcast, right? So let's get started. First, let's talk about why are only 3% of people at self-actualization? Why are only 3% of people the person that they know that what I think is God created them to become or what they believe is the best version of themselves, right? I'm a person of faith. You're going to hear that on this podcast. I'm not going to hide that, right? But again, I don't judge anybody, right? You're free to believe anything you want to believe, and I encourage and love all people. But to me, I am exactly who I believe God created me to be. I'm trying to get you to that same feeling. Now, why are only 3% of people living their best life? Well, it becomes from a lot of things, right? Bad decisions, right? Sometimes bad decisions can get in our way. Maybe we get into alcohol. Maybe we get into drugs. Maybe we associate with the wrong people. We have the wrong friendships. The biggest problem is we can't get out of our own way half the time, right? We make a decision. We hold on to bad decisions. We hold on to pain way too long, right? You hear that, it's kind of a metaphor, but, you can't move forward looking backwards. You got to have the right gas in the bus or you won't get to where you're going. All those things are true. I'm a big believer. We're going to have a whole episode on The Energy Bus by John Gordon, which is my favorite book. Talks about the kind of energy you're putting in the bus. The people you put on the bus matter. That's a whole nother episode. But I found that to be so true. We hold ourselves back. We are our own worst enemy. Myself was guilty. For years, I had this pain and guilt that I left. My father died of cancer. I went to Georgia chasing my dream to play professional basketball. And my father died while I was gone. I tried to make it back. It was a tough thing. For years, I carried that pain and that burden. Right? Beating myself up. I'm a bad son because I left. Then I have my own son, and I realized, man, that's dumb. My dad would have wanted me to be happy, wanted me to chase my dreams. I beat myself up for years for no reason. And that's what we do. We make a mistake, and we can't overcome it, right? So it's a mindset change that starts with the way you feel about you. It starts with the way you feel about you, right? That you deserve this life of abundance. How many times, as I reached great success in business and I became financially past what I ever dreamed of, I would wake up in the night, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this wealth. I don't deserve this success. I'd wake up and I'd almost feel sad, like I had to apologize for being good at what I did, right? It's a mindset shift. We got to fight through the idea that we don't deserve to be in the 1% of people. You have to believe that you deserve this life of happiness, right? And the world tells us to be mediocre, right? They beat us down all the time. Sometimes we surround ourselves with friends where we have big dreams. I'm going to do this, and they shoot us down. Why? That's not a friend. Or sometimes we get in bad relationships, right? And that spouse, that loved one, they don't want to see you grow and succeed. They want to hold you right where you are. That's a terrible thing too, right? You got to surround yourself with next level people, next level conversations. The people I surround myself with are incredible high energy, incredible successful people. The people I run my real estate brokerage, husband and wife team, are the most positive, incredible people I could ever associate myself. My partner, Michelangelo, who founded The Colony with me, the next level energy. That guy believes in everything I do. So it's surrounding ourselves with those people and not accepting average. From day one, we're taught average. Go to school, 9 to 3, go home, play video games, right? Don't accept this average expectation, this average life, right? You want to be better than that. Change the way you think about yourself. Believe that you have it in you to achieve the greatest of all dreams, because you do. Because you do, right? If no one has ever told you you're smart enough, good enough, talented enough, handsome enough, beautiful enough to be an amazing person, let me be the first to tell you that you are. That God didn't create you to be small. God created you to have a life that you never dreamed of, right? With successes and things that you can't even fathom. And I was created to hate. Well, I was born poor, man, dirt poor, right? You want to talk about poor? I can see my breath in the farmhouse I grew up in. Thankful for all of it, though, because it made me who I am. But God didn't create us to be small. He didn't create us to be average. He created us to have a life that we could never dream of, a life to abundance, right? I grew up poor. I was taught to hate wealth. Money's not terrible. You could do a lot of good with money. You could do a lot of good with success. The truth is, I felt a lot of people when I got to a different level of income, right? So wealth's not bad, but we have to choose to have the success, and we have to believe that it's within us to be successful, right? So how do we change the way we feel about ourselves? It starts with discipline. Discipline is the key to all things successful in your life. Discipline leads to everything. Without great discipline, it's hard to accomplish anything of value. Discipline changes the way you feel. For example, I was in the military. I was running 5 miles a day every day. That discipline made me feel good about who I am, because it made me feel like I have a gear that you didn't have. Even soldiers weren't going to get up every day and run 5 miles a day. So that discipline, that consistency, right, led me to self-belief. It changed the way I felt about myself. And then I get into business, I get into things, I take on these different things we'll talk about in the podcast, but I knew I had a little something different. I had a better work ethic. I had discipline. I knew I could outwork you. I got into the business world, 4 or 5 years ago. I shredded everyone. I ran them over. I saw this real estate industry. What a gimmick the real estate industry is. These team leaders, these brokers just taking advantage of their people, stealing money out of their pockets. I took one look, said, I'm going to kill them all. I'm going to be better than all of them. I set out to start this real estate organization, and we exploded overnight. It was easy, because I knew I had a different energy and a different work ethic. It came from a life of discipline, right? Another good thing about change the way you feel, the decisions that you make build a core belief, right? So when I'm faced with great tests of integrity, I tend to choose to do the right thing. And that reaffirms who I am, right? So every time I make a decision where no one else knows about it, right? Because anybody can make a decision where they're going to get applauded by 100 people. That's not real integrity. Real integrity is doing what's right when no one's going to know, right? And when you do that consistently, you feel good about who you are, because in your heart, you know you are exactly who you say you are. Right? I'm a lot of things, but I'll tell you this, I am exactly who I say I am. I love people. I care about people. I love the kids I coach. I'm a player's coach. I give everything I got to change their lives. Same things with my realtors, my business partners. I'll do anything to change their lives and take them to the next level. I believe that's my calling. I believe that's my purpose. I believe that's the purpose of this podcast. I want to change the world. I'm crazy enough to believe I can do it. I'm going to do it, right? So when you make those integrity decisions when no one else knows, right? A lot of times, you'll think, well, I'm not doing it because it's a sin, and that's good. But the real truth is you're reaffirming who you are, what you believe. You feel like a rock. And that's how you start changing your mindset. I've got discipline. I've got integrity. I deserve success. I deserve what God has in store for me, right? You build a better core belief about who you are through those choices, right? Let's talk about, our hierarchy of needs. We steal this from Maslow. Obviously, Maslow hierarchy of needs, I didn't create it, right? We give him all the credit. But let's talk about that and how it applies to today's world, because I think it's really important as we try to get to the self-actualization and be the person we're meant to be. It starts with our most basic needs, right? If you can't feed yourself, feed your family, put gas in your car and get to work, it's kind of hard to be the best version of yourself. This is why our public education system is awful. A lot of these kids, man, if they're not safe in their environment, if they don't even know where the next meal is coming from, they don't care about algebra, and you're crazy to think that they should care, right? So if your basic needs, you have to have your basic needs are met, or you can't get to self-actualization, or you're in survival mode. You can't be in abundance mode if you're in survival mode, right? So the first thing is making sure that whatever passion you have pays you at least enough to survive and succeed. And I would think that's all that matters, right? I'm not a big believer in money. I've had some success financially in my life. I'm thankful for that. It gave me a lot of security, but that's not what gets me up in the morning. Helping people, changing lives, that's what gets me up in the morning, right? So I say if you got the choice between money and passion, you should choose passion every single time, 10 billion times over. Because without passion, none of this matters. It's my energy that makes me different. It's my energy that makes me special. It's my energy that was such a great gift. And I didn't always realize that. A lot of times I would shrink my energy to make other people more comfortable so they wouldn't be scared that I would just take things over and make it better, right? That was a big mistake in my life. I should have always been like, yeah, listen, get out of my chair. I should be the boss, right? I digress. Basic needs have to be met. Safety and security, right? Safety and security means, building competence. I'm okay by myself, right? Best thing you can do for young people, make them competent. In today's world, statistically, 93% of people are completely incompetent at their jobs. That's a staggering. We've done that because we've dumbed down generations. We've lowered expectations. We've lowered standards. We've debilitated men. We've weakened men. You go out into these videos, oh, the burden of being a man. Stupid, right? My emotions, I can't. Forget it, right? What happened to men? Go out, feed your family, be a solid man, work hard, achieve goals. We're neutering a generation of men. We've killed a generation of young people. We've lowered the standard of what it is to be a teacher, what it is to be a cop, right? I remember and I was a police officer. I'm going to tell you this. When I was growing up, the cops in our town were the toughest kids in our town that grew up to be cops. Right now, sometimes, sometimes they are afraid because they've never been in a fight in their life, right? We've lowered the standard to be a teacher. I had gods, teachers to look up to, coaches. We've watered everything down now in our society. It's crazy, right? But building competence, you got to build young people that are going to be competent. The first thing I can help you is to be competent. Give yourself tasks that you can accomplish. I start that with my real estate people. I start that with my young people. My young people on basketball team, they mop the gym floor. They clean up after themselves. I teach them competence. In a world where 93% of people are incompetent, wrap your head around that. They can't handle the most simple tasks at their job. So if all you are is competent with a good attitude, you're in the top 7% of people just like that. You're welcome, right? But keep listening. There's a lot more to give you here. So building safety, security, you got to be safe in your environment, getting good relationships. You can't be in relationships where you're getting beat on, things like that. You got to be safe in your environment. You got to be safe around your friends. You got to have people you can share your dreams and goals with that aren't going to knock you down. Relationships are so important. We're going to talk about it in depth. Being a good relationships matter. Having good friendships matter, right? If you're alone, you feel empty. It's hard to become the best version of yourself. Have good friendships. How do you do that? Well, the Bible says to be a good friend or to have friends, you must show yourself friendly. So I'll tell you this, I take a lot of pride. You can ask anybody that knows me. I take friendship more serious than anything, right? And I had some things growing up, broken family, adopted by my biological grandmother and the man she married, who was an amazing father to me. But I was always looking for family unit, right? Because that was kind of broken. So my friends became my family. My teammates in high school became my family. The kids that play for me are my family. Anything for them. I've had kids come live with me for years, right? Bad home lives. Yeah, come on, we got a place. Coach did that for me in high school, gave me a room I could go to anytime in his house, helped me with my homework, right? I want to be a giant in people's lives. Same thing with the people that work for me. I'll do anything for them. Anything for them to help them be successful. Relationships matter. Friendships matter. If you want to matter to people, they've got to matter to you. And in this world, we're taught me, right? Start living your life about what you can do for other people, right? Because I'll say this. A big part of my magic is giving you your magic. So I believe in my players with everything in me in a school that nobody had heard of athletically until I got there. 2 state championships, 17 straight winning seasons, 100 kids went on to play college basketball and baseball. What magic started with being Coach Dan was I believed in them with my whole heart. I would take kids that got cut off other high schools and turn them into college players, right? In a school that doesn't cheat, one of the only schools in New Jersey, private schools that don't cheat, that don't offer fake scholarships, that actually follow the rules. I was able to build an incredible sports program because I believe in people. And when you believe in people with your whole heart, then they believe in you. So part of my magic is I believe in people. And I'm coaching at a school that nobody ever heard of athletically. I've been there 21 years, 2 state titles, about 100 kids, 2 state prep titles, about 100 kids went on to play college basketball and baseball. Part of my magic is I take kids other coaches don't believe in. They get cut at their other school. I bring them, I turn them into college players because I believe in people. And part of my magic is when you believe in people with your whole heart, they believe in you. And when they believe in you, they're willing to fight hard for you. They're willing to become the best version of themselves. They're great salesmen, great basketball players, baseball players. And I've been able to lead people in this regard. So go all in and believe in people. Relationships matter. And watch how your life goes up when you have great relationships. I can't say this enough. We'll have a whole podcast later. We'll have a whole episode about relationships. But who you matter marries. Right? I mean, that's a huge thing. You're in a bad relationship, life sucks. I mean, that's the truth. You can't get to the best version of life if you're not with somebody good. Right? I can't go out and conquer the world if my personal life is a mess, right? Is a disaster. You just can't do it. I can't go and conquer the world if I got to worry about what's going to happen when I walk in that door at night. So getting good relationships, getting healthy relationships, we're going to talk a lot about this on a different episode, but get out of bad relationships fast. Get out of bad friendships fast. Get out of bad, emotional relationships, personal relationships, get out of them fast, right? If it isn't good, and I'm not one that says you run for the hills. I mean, I think you stay married, you fight for your marriage, but if you know it's bad and you know it's toxic, we got to teach our young people how to get out of toxic relationships, or we're not going to get to self-actualization, right? The way be good at your job. So once you've built some competence, you have some discipline, and you know you're good at your job, you have self-respect, and the people around you respect you. And you can't get to where you want to be not respected, right? Everywhere I go, Coach Dan, people respect me. My players respect me. There's not a one that gets off the phone and does say, I love you, Coach, when they get off the phone. And some of them are, 35, 36 years old now, right? I'm getting old too, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? But those things matter. You got to have respect for what you do, for your competence. That's why you have to choose a life of passion. If you're not respected, it's hard to be successful. You ever work in a job where you're not respected? Not respected for what you bring to the table, for the professional you are, it's hard to be happy like that, right? It's darn near impossible. So do something you love, do something you're good at with people that respect you for being good at it. And if they don't, get out of there, walk, right? One of the worst mistakes I ever made is sometimes I stayed in places where I wasn't respected. And I should have bounced a lot earlier, right? And that's how we get to self-actualization, or the realization that we are who we are. When we practice good discipline, when we have passion, all right, when we have safety and security, when we have healthy relationships, friendships, we're married to somebody we love, respect, no self-bad talk. I was guilty of this. I would always talk myself down. Oh, I'm just a poor country boy, just an average guy with above average attitude. I would downplay who I was, right, to make other people comfortable. Don't ever down-talk yourself, and don't let anybody else do it, right? You have to put on the armor to know that you can accomplish great things. Success doesn't happen by itself. And the crown of success is heavy. Once you get there, it's hard to stay there, because then everybody wants to chop at you, right? The crown is heavy. Get yourself ready to get to that self-actualization, right? Part of the thing is knowing what we're chasing, right? We got to know what we're chasing. Who are we trying to become? Where are we trying to take this world? Where are we trying to take this life, this journey? I look at everything I do as my own corporation, Coach Dan LLC. Everything I'm doing, I'm trying to move myself forward in one way or the next, right? So, but how do we know? We got to have a plan. You wouldn't go into battle without a plan. You wouldn't go into a game without a plan, right? So how do we know what we're chasing? I'm going to tell you the biggest secret somebody ever told me. And Dr. Stephen Bassett taught me this at a self-help thing when I was in my 20s. I thought it was ridiculous. And I'm not doing this. This is corny. I tried it and it changed my life. It's called goal board visualization. And it works like this. You lay out a blueprint. You map out your life on a big goal board. You cut out things from magazines, you put them up, and you say, these are my goals. This is what I'm trying to do, right? And along with that, you choose your attitude, all right? I don't believe in sadness. I don't believe in weakness. I wake up every day. I choose to be in a good mood. I choose to be happy. I've battled cancer. I've had some things going on. I've had unbelievable losses in my life. I lost 3 of the most important people in my life in a span of 7 days. That was a difficult week. I didn't even miss a day at work. I'm just going to keep going and being Coach Dan, right? It's choosing your attitude every single day, but it's about also choosing the life you want. There is something magical that people much smarter than me that can explain about visualizing your goals. So I started putting goals up on this goal board, the next stripe in the military, owning my own home, Rolex watch, dream car, dream truck. Even put my wife up there. My wife was like, I gotta have her. That's the woman I want to marry, right? They probably arrest me for stalking now, but I even cut out her picture, put her up there. I was like, I'm gonna get her to go out with me. I'm gonna marry her, and I did. Everything I've ever put on my goal board has been realized. And when you go back 10, 15, 20 years and you look at the change of life of what my goals were, what my yearly income was, what, if I could just get to this much, I'd be okay. Now, if I made that much, I'd be, I wouldn't even be able to survive. But you look at how your goals change, your expectations of life change because you set goals and met them. What if you set higher goals from the very beginning? What if you set goals you didn't even know you could reach, but you visualized it every day? I bet you could make it. I'm going to say this again so you understand it. Everything I've ever put on that goal board, I've achieved. Not a single goal have I ever put on that goal board that I've visualized that I haven't achieved, and I redo it every year. And at the time, some of these goals were crazy. Crazy. Picture of a college coach. Boom. Coached in college. Anything I've put up there, tech sergeant. Boom. Made tech sergeant. Boom. Cop of the year, in the military. Boom. Whatever goal I put up there, there's something magical about seeing it and going after it. I'll tell you a story about a young man who was having a rough time, really rough time in the school he was at. He was heavy set, very heavy young man. I don't know what his weight was, but he was a couple 100 pounds overweight. And his basketball coach in his school told him he would never play a meaningful minute of high school basketball, but he could be on the JV team if he chose. The young man, he come to live with me. And he came to the school where I was coaching. I grew up with his dad. His dad was one of the most loyal friends I've ever had. And his dad said, yeah, man, listen, give it a try. If you think you can help him be positive in his life, let's give it a go. So he comes to live with me. He ends up going to the private school. I drive him there every day. And we set a goal board when he first got it. I said, listen, you're going to live here. We got a spare room upstairs. You're going to have to set some goals. And we're going to put up a goal board over the fireplace, and we're going to look at these goals. This kid set these goals. I'll never forget it. He wanted to weigh 180 pounds. He wanted to be the captain of the high school basketball team. He wanted to get a scholarship to play college basketball. He wanted a girlfriend. And then I made him put 3.0 on his GPA. This is what happened with this young man. We got on P90X. Back then I was fit. It's just, just out of the military. I was crazy like that. But I did P90X with him every day. We prepared the diet every day. He slimmed down to 160 pounds, right? He worked hard to become a great basketball player. He led the state in charges taken. He had 2 teeth knocked out. He handed them to me on his way down the floor. There was like 15 seconds left in the game. He took a charge at one end, lost his teeth, handed them to me, went down the other end, and we scored the game-winning basket. I'll never forget it. He became the captain of our basketball team because he was the hardest worker. He became the first one done in every suicide, right? He got down to the weight that he wanted to get down at. He became the captain of our high school basketball team. He got a Division II scholarship to play Division II basketball. He took the prettiest girl in the school to the prom. And he had exactly a 3.0 GPA. Everything that kid put up on that goal board, he achieved. And at the time, I got to be honest, when he put 180 pounds on that goal board, I was like, there ain't no way that's happening. But he did it. God bless him. He got there. And that's a perfect example. I do it with every young people I work with. And I'll tell you this, sometimes they throw it in the trash on the way out, right? I taught a motivational class, for freshmen in high school and a freshman in college when I was a college professor. And I'll say this, the kids that I coach, if they throw it in the garbage, they never become the player they're supposed to become. There's just something about visualizing those goals. But the ones who take it serious, put their goal board up in their house, send me pictures of it, they almost always end up going and playing in college and becoming the best version of themselves. Guys, listen, if there's nothing else you learn from this episode, please do a goal board. Let's lay it out and start visualizing the life we want so we can attack, right? Moving forward, listen, it becomes like this. And I'm just going to tell you the easiest way I can explain it. There's 3 types of people in the world. There's dreamers. Dreamers dream big things. We all know dreamers, right? They're never going to do nothing. They sit and they dream all the time. They talk about what they're going to do. They can't get out of the planning phase. I see it in real estate all the time. I'm going to make $100,000 a year, but I'm going to sit here and watch trainings all day long and never actually go out and sell, right? Dreamers are beautiful people, but they lack what it takes to execute their dreams. Doers are almost just as bad. They're going to go to work every day. I will go to work and come home, and that's it. They'll never go the extra mile. They'll never develop themselves. They'll never dream bigger. They'll go work their 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? We need 9 to 5ers. We need people doing that. But to me, that's selling yourself way short. I was guilty of that, I was guilty of that for a while. You go to work, come home. This is it. No way, baby. No way. The top 3% of people in the world are dreamers and doers. The very few people who see a dream and can execute that dream. That's what I'm trying to get you to. I can see this dream, I can see this goal, and I'm going to go execute that goal. That's what I want for you. That's the life that I want for you. That's who I am as a man. I set a goal. I'm going to create this real estate organization that puts everybody first. I'm not going to take a penny from my realtors. People thought I was crazy. They laughed at me. Some of these big brokerages were like, you'll fail, you're crazy, you're the worst businessman in the world, you could make millions off your coaching. I don't want that. I'd be you. I wouldn't be me. I'm going to give it all out for free. I'm going to try to change lives. Now we have I think the 14th largest real estate organization in the world. You'll never be bigger than this. You'll never be bigger than that. All right, well, hold my Pepsi Max and watch me do it, right? And we did it. Praise God. So that's what it's about. And, you know, I always said in the military, I live my life simple. I wake up in the morning, I put my pants on, I see the hill, I take the hill, and that's really life. Have a plan, see the plan, execute the plan. That's it. That's it. Why is it so hard? Because we make it harder than it is. We lack the motivation, the discipline to see things through when times get tough. I'm going to help you with that, right? Move everything forward. In my life, I have no open dates in my calendar ever. I'm always moving something forward. I don't have any free time. Idleness is the devil's workshop. I don't have time to be lazy. If there's something in my schedule, I'm going to put a meeting in there with somebody that can help me grow my business, grow my life, make me better. I'm going to watch a podcast. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go scout whatever team we're playing. But I'm going to move things forward every single day of my life. And that's what it's about. Move everything forward. If you have an opportunity to move something forward, do it. Right? Get off the TV, get off the social media, get off the nonsense. Right? How many times can you watch that cat fall out of the sky? Like, ridiculous. You're cheating yourself of excellence. You only get so many hours a day. You should be increasing your time. I try to do 2 tasks, 3 tasks at once, so I'm getting more than 24 hours out of my day, right? I'm moving everything forward. Relationships. If I can tell my kids I love them, I move my relationships forward with my kids anytime I get. If I can grab my kid, go watch a matinee, take him to dinner, I want to move that thing forward. I get in the gym late at night sometimes with my son, work on basketball, baseball. Anything I can do, I'm going to move this thing forward. I'm going to be the best father, the best husband, the best friend. If I miss my friends, I'll text my friends I love them in the middle of the day, right? I love you, man. I'm so proud of you. Can I help your life at all? Because I want to be a light and an energy, and that sustains me. But I'm moving everything forward every day. You allow things to go backwards, your life's going to go backwards. Be the kind of person that moves everything forward. Every relationship in your life, move it forward, right? Every part of your business, move it forward. Every part of who you are, move it forward, right? Send your wife a text. You know what I mean? All this silliness. We're always looking for the next relationship or romanticizing the past relationship. Why not love the people that you're with now? The people at your job now. Forget about yesterday and stop worrying about the future. Live in the moment now, right? Move everything forward every day. Don't have any gaps in your schedule. Don't be lazy, right? To me, it's always been that easy, is to double your time. It's a simple process. Work hard, get better. It's ridiculous that we've lost that. Somewhere in our society, we've lost the idea that hard work brings results, right? Coaching high school basketball, it used to be the coach was always right. Now you get these parents in the stands. They don't know nothing, a lot of them. This one doesn't play because he doesn't like me. I love everybody, right? Your coaches, why would a coach not want to win? Every coach wants to win, right? Work hard, get better. You want to be a 10% better salesman? Guess what? Work 10% harder, right? You want to be at 20%? You want to raise your sales 20%? Call 20% more people a day. Sales is all about how many people you touch. It's simple. It's easy as breathing. The best thing you can get in the world is sales. Everything is sales. I recruit kids to my basketball programs and baseball programs. That's sales. Get my wife to marry me. That was sales. That was tough. I asked her out 17 times, right? If we had a good human resources department where we worked at the time, I would have got fired. But thank God we didn't. Constantly, sales is everything. Everything is sales, right? Getting you to listen to this podcast is sales. Getting realtors work for me is sales. Selling homes is sales. Everything is sales, right? Get good at sales. But it's a simple process. You want to be a better free throw shooter? You want to be a 10% better, shoot 10% more free throws, right? Life is really that simple. Really, it is that simple, right? Set the goal. You want to be 50% better, work 50% harder. Sales in itself is about reaching out and touching people. You want 20% more sales? Touch 20% more people a day. Hand out cards, get on social media, send out your postcards, right? Blog, whatever it takes. Reach 20% more people, your sales will go up 20%. It's easy as breathing. We're our own worst enemy. Our lack of discipline and our laziness is our own worst enemy. This idea, our lack of attitude, our lack of competitiveness, right? But again, society beats us down. Society wants us to be average, right? They want to push this averageness on us. Don't let them be above average. I'll make you this guarantee. I'll make you this simple task right now. Make a list of everything that's holding you back. Right now, write it down. I'll give you 5 seconds. Sit down, write a goal, what's holding me back. For me, I was always like, I'm not good at technology. I could never have my own podcast because I'm, late 40s and I didn't grow up with a computer. I said, man, I'm too old maybe to grow a real estate team, the largest real estate team, and whatever excuses I had, da-da-da-da. So you write down your excuses. Perfect. Now, look at your excuses and call yourself a moron, right? Because you're a moron. Nothing in the world should be holding you back at anything. What that is, man, that's your belief system. That's the things you've put in your mind that are telling you that you can't be successful. That's what Satan is putting in your mind to stop you from becoming the best person you can. Rip that list up right now. And I tell you this, if it feels heavy, put it down, right? I hired a guy, Joe, my main man, all right? He's going to produce my podcast, get me online, because it's not my skill set. It felt heavy, I put it down. Whatever you feel like you can't do, put it down, baby. There's somebody that can do it. There's somebody you can pay to do it. There's someone you can train to do it. The truth is, I got a lot of people that help me. I got a virtual assistant that does so much more for me a day because I can't handle all the businesses I run and all the businesses I own, right? I got a lot of people helping me. I got a guy that trains all our brand new people. I got people that sustain my energy. I got people to help me in everything I do. Nobody's successful alone, right? If it feels heavy, put it down. That goes in relationships. They start to feel heavy. You got to learn to put things down. There's a great video on my YouTube. We'll get to that later. That talks about putting things down that feel heavy. But if it doesn't make you feel powerful and strong and like a superstar, either get better at it or hire somebody else to do it. Put it down when it feels heavy. But the truth is we eliminate our own self-belief by continually telling ourselves that we're not good enough because we have these limiting factors and this limiting faith in ourselves, right? Get rid of all that nonsense. The truth is you choose to be successful. You choose to succeed. You choose to be a winner. You choose to get to that top 3% of people, or you choose not to. And that's the most honest thing I can ever tell you on this podcast. You choose the life you want. You choose it. You either let life knock you down and you sit there and you stay down, or you make excuses. I wasn't born rich. My boss doesn't like me. I have great ideas, but no one ever helped me. Listen, you choose your life. You choose to be excellence. You choose to fail. You choose to succeed, right? And the minute you start believing that and get rid of this pity party and get rid of this self-doubt and these limited beliefs, the faster you are to get into self-actualization and getting to be that 1%, right? I see it in real estate all the time. They'll come to me. I can't do that. My broker didn't provide leads. I say all the time, like, you go out and get your own 25 leads a month, but you have to work it. Majority of people aren't willing to work for what they want, right? And that makes me really sad. If you're willing to work it, you log on this podcast, you follow what I'm telling you, right? I'm going to help you get to the life you want. Be a fanatic, right? That's really the biggest thing. Discipline and being a fanatic with a plan, right? Nothing happens when you're not a fanatic. All right, there's a book I like to read called Fanatical Prospect. I'm a fanatic for what I do. I'm a fanatic about helping people be better realtors. Right? I'm a fanatic about traveling the country, helping people be better salesmen. I'm a fanatic about coaching high school basketball and baseball. I'm a fanatic about everything I do, about the father I am, about the family man I am, about the leader I am. I'm fanatical about leadership, right? I'm fanatical about the way I view myself. In a strong sense, I think about what I say. I think about where I go. I think about who I associate with. I only want to be surrounded with next level people, high energy people that are trying to go to the same place I am. I don't have time for average. All right, some people had to go. Some people had to go because they couldn't see where I was going, and they were going to stop me from getting to where I wanted to be because they had such limited self-beliefs in themselves. Not that I wouldn't be there for them, answer their calls, I would, but my inner circle to have my time, a piece of me, you got to be going where I'm going, or you're going to slow me down and stop me. I can't let that happen for my family. So you got to be a fanatic about your business, about anything you do. You're not happy with your sales, you're not a fanatic. Right? I don't ever worry about my sales, ever. Because I know I'm a fanatic. Everywhere I go, I'm handing out a card. Boom, boom, boom. Handing out my card. I'm trying to move everything forward. When you're moving everything forward, your business is going to succeed. Anything you do, if you're constantly moving forward, you're going to succeed. But are you a fanatic? Are you really trying as hard as you can to be as successful as you can? You know you're not. 97% of us are not. Right? We don't have the discipline. We don't have the determination, and we don't have the belief in ourselves that we can be great. You might hand out 10 cards one day. When I sit down and travel the country and talk to realtors that are struggling, Are you talking to 10 people a day? The majority say no. How are you going to survive? How are you going to succeed in sales if you can't talk to people, right? It's discipline. It's being a fanatic for your life. I took over the basketball program at the school that I'm at now, and I was a fanatic. People thought I was crazy, right? I'll never forget, I had a volleyball scoreboard, tile floor. They handed me a used whistle and one deflated basketball. Here's your equipment. Hadn't had a winning season in a long time. Nobody was coming there for basketball, for sports. I said, I'm going to build it. I'm going to change it. I'm going to do it. We're going to do it clean. We're going to do it right. We're going to bring in great kids with 3.0. We're going to build around character kids. We're going to try to really build this thing up. The results were incredible, right? Incredible. Everybody was my friend back then when they were beating me in the beginning. Then we start beating them. Everybody's like, oh, yeah. You know how it changes when you start having success. But the point is, I was a fanatic about building that school, about bringing kids into that school, about loving that place, about the energy. I would tell kids every day, don't you feel great to be here? Isn't this great? Aren't you loved? And it changed the way people felt about the entire place. Same thing in real estate, same thing about military unit. Aren't we lucky to be in this unit? I was in the most elite unit in the military for military police, the 421st Combat Training Squadron. I said, aren't we great to be here? Isn't this great, this camaraderie? Everybody was in the gym every morning. There was a next level energy. But I reminded everybody how special it was to be a part of something that's special. It's creating that energy and being a fanatic for what you're doing. I was fanatic about being a cop in the military. I was fanatic about running the private school where I was coaching and still am coaching. I was fanatic about building those programs. I'm fanatic about being a father. I'm fanatic about building my real estate business. Without being a fanatic, you're not going to do anything of value. If you think throughout time, the most successful people in the world, they were fanatical. Michael Jordan, fanatic, right? Would you know Kobe Bryant, fanatic? You wouldn't know their name if they weren't possessed with being the best basketball players in the world. You think of people, the greatest people in history, the people's names we remember, it's because they were a fanatic about what they're about. Martin Luther King, a fanatic about the civil rights movement. You think about these great people in history. They were fanatics about what they believed in, about what they wanted to do. Thomas Edison, electricity, whatever. If you're not a fanatic, nothing of value is going to sustain itself, right? Because the going's going to get too tough and you're going to fail. So this is what I tell you. It's about discipline. It's about choosing your attitude. It's about having a plan and seeing it through. It's about being a fanatic. It's about goal board visualization. It's about changing the way you feel about you. You deserve success. You deserve a life of abundance. You deserve to have everything that you ever dreamed of. You deserve to be in good relationships. You deserve to have beautiful friendships. You deserve the life of being a 1 to 3%er. And that's what Coach Danalytics is about. If I helped you at all today, reach out to me on my email, reach out to me on my YouTube page at Dan Williamson 3797. Send me an email if you got questions, problems you want me to address. I do that on my podcast before we launched it nationwide. Daniel Williamson 605 at yahoo.com. You could go on our website, thecolonyexp.com, and book a one-on-one with me if you need some business coaching or some life coaching. But I'll say this, before we meet for this next podcast, I'm begging you, please do a goal board. Do a goal board, sit down, throw some things up on that goal board, cut some pictures out of the car you want, the life you want, and let's talk about taking step 2 in the next episode of our podcast. I hope you log in. I hope you enjoyed this one. You're beautiful. I love you. Don't forget, you are smart enough. You are good enough. You are talented enough to have the life that you deserve. But you got to have the courage to follow a plan, log into people that can help you, come to Coach Danalytics, and start executing a path to a better life. I'm here to help you. Coach Danalytics, preparing you for the game of life.